Morning, everyone. I just wanted to, before I jump in, I just want to confirm that all my panelists are here. We were just waiting for one more person to join. So I know Sam, you're here, right, Sam? Hi, Sam. And then Vatsal, I know Vatsal's here. Could we spotlight Vatsal as well so I can confirm he's here? Working on it? Hi, Vatsal. And Joyce, who I think might be just in the process of joining. We are starting just a couple of minutes ahead of schedule, so I just want to make sure she has a moment to jump on. I think it looks like she is here.
Sorry,
Joyce, are you here?
Away at the wrong time?
All good. We're starting a little bit early. Joyce, can we spotlight Joyce as well, please? Okay, good morning. Good morning. Thank you all. Good morning. Okay, so just to give a little context, I know Andrea did open up the presentation as well, but just to give a little extra context to this panel presentation today, we all know that Toastmasters really thrives on diversity, with members from various cultural backgrounds coming together to develop communication and leadership skills. Understanding cultural differences is crucial for Toastmasters Club because it really helps to foster an inclusive environment, it increases collaboration, and really can enrich our whole learning experience. So by recognizing and respecting cultural nuances, clubs can create an environment where all members feel valued and heard. So today we are going to be hearing from 3 Toastmasters who will share their personal experiences and insights and knowledge with us. So first today we have Sam Lee. Sam is from the Provincially Speaking Toastmasters Club. He grew up in China, lived in Singapore for 5 years, and then moved to Halifax, Canada in 2005. Currently, he's a manager in the Department of Cyber Security and Digital Solutions in the province of Nova Scotia. So welcome, Sam. Next, we have Joyce Ding, who is the Area Director for Area 11 and the Sergeant at Arms for Halifax Toastmasters at SMU, which is St. Mary's University. Having been in Canada for over 3 years, Joyce is engaged in multiple projects. She is building the Chinese women's community of Nova Scotia, leading a MyTax-funded research initiative on digital tools to reduce food waste, and working as a contracted developer for the Seniors College Association of Nova Scotia. So welcome, Joyce. And finally, we have Vatsal Sood. Vatsal moved to Halifax from India to pursue his master's in computer science. Vatsal joined Toastmasters during the pandemic and has held multiple executive positions. Currently, he is serving as the president of Halifax Toastmasters at SMU, St. Mary's University. Vatsal loves coaching people on how to get better at public speaking inside and outside of Toastmasters. So welcome, Vatsal. Welcome to all 3 of our panelists this morning. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your experiences with us. So we're going to jump into some questions. I'll ask all 3 of you the same questions. I'll just change up the order as we go along through the questions. And we do have our timer. Albert, can you just raise your hand so we can make sure our panelists can see Albert? Could we just confirm that before we
Sorry, when you said raise your hand, I raised my physical hand. Do you mean raise my hand in Zoom?
If you don't mind, just so we can make sure we can see.
Where do I raise? My Zoom is updated. Is it under React?
Well, either.
Yes, under React.
Okay, so if I go React, recognize hand gestures.
And the very bottom one says raise hand. It's the bar at the very bottom of React. And just keep it.
I'm sorry, all I see is play chime and recognize hand gestures.
Oh.
Attention. Oh, you're at the top right now, Albert. If I could just confirm, Vatsal, Sam, Joyce, can you all see Albert? Okay. So what Albert's going to do is he's going to show the red light at 2.5 minutes, just so you know to wrap up your question. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Albert. Our first question is, if you could each tell us about your reason for joining Toastmasters and how you either found or chose your home club. So maybe we could start with you, Sam.
Sure. About 6 years ago, I first heard of Toastmasters from a co-worker. But at that time, the thought of public speaking made me nervous. I was hesitant to attend. 2 years ago, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and accepted an acting manager position. That role made me realize just how important public speaking and leadership skills are. Around the same time, I saw a question or a post on our organization's social media platform. It asked, "Are you interested in improving speaking, listening, and leadership skills?" That question really spoke to me and ignited a desire to improve in all of these areas. Then I attended the open house of that club, provincially speaking Toastmasters Club, and became a member shortly after. This club was the perfect fit for me. It has hybrid format, so members can join either in person or online. Being able to join online was excellent for me, considering my own schedule. And the members come from all walks of life. But many, like me, are provincial civil servants. Yeah, so that make me feel, wow, everything is perfect. So that shared connection, along with the club's welcoming and supportive environment, make it feel like home from the very beginning. And I stayed. Back to Jenny.
Thank you, Sam. That's amazing. I think a lot of us can probably relate with that very deeply. Thank you for sharing that. Vatsal, could you tell us how, first of all, why you chose to join Toastmasters and how you found your home club?
Thank you, Jenny. So similar to what Sam was saying, 4 years ago, I was looking to improve my communication skills. When I used to talk very quickly. My conversation speed was so fast, people would not understand what I was saying. And that didn't make me feel very good. I was like, it sounds like I'm falling on deaf ears. Whatever I'm saying, nobody's paying attention to what I'm saying. And I wanted to have an impact on people. And I wanted to make sure that I'm heard. So that's why I started just Googling online. I didn't know about Toastmasters back then. I was just looking for something that would help me articulate my thoughts better. So that's how I found the club that I'm currently in. And to answer the rest of the questions, why I stayed with this club, the main reason was that the people were very friendly. My past experiences with public speaking were not the best. I remember in high school, I did some public speaking and I would freak out on the stage and the spotlight would scare me. So I was replaying those same scenarios in my head when I joined Toastmasters. I was thinking people might not be as nice as my high school friends, but here people were smiling at me when I got on the stage and they were encouraging me. Even on my first day, people were like, "You should go up there. You sound like a good speaker." I'm like, I don't know, man. So I just went up there and felt like a very positive feedback coming from the audience. No bullying, no mocking you, so which was great. So that's why I stuck with the club, and over time I feel the positivity is ongoing. It's not like when you join something, people are very nice to you. Over the time, they're still positive all the time. They're still very welcoming. It's always a good, positive atmosphere to be in for me in this club. So I have not changed clubs in the past 4 years. I've held all my exact positions in this club because I've gained so much value, knowledge, and I want to share that with the rest of the members that come to the club. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Vatsal. That's amazing. That's what we love to hear. That's exactly what we want to hear. Thank you for sharing that. And Joyce, same question for you.
Okay, yeah, because I'm from the same club as Vassal's. he was there. He was the only person answer my question in Meetup because I registered Meetup and I saw he's the only attendees that kind of thing. Is this class really exists? So yeah, he answered me. I feel that's helpful. I was a public relation consultant, so presentation is always my my job. So I think I did well in Chinese, but I feel like I need improvement in English as well. And as a presenter, I always feel like I lack of methodology, and I don't have a system how to improve. Though I know some basic rule, but I feel like I don't have all those knowledge to help me to improve my skill of public speaking and the persuasion, because this is my job and I like it. I like how to be a good speaker on the stage. I enjoy that feeling. So when my friend mentioned to me there is some organization to help people to do that, I think that will be my thing, that I want to pursue that. So I chose a couple of clubs and finally went to Smith, and I feel the energy, I like it. All the people, I feel it's kind of the same kind of person, always want to improve their skills and friendly. So I stayed. I have been members for years and I love it. Okay.
Thank you, Joyce. That's amazing. So you did try out a couple of clubs and then settled with Smew. That's great. I love hearing that. Well, thank you all for sharing that with us. I think we can all relate to a lot of your reasons for joining Toastmasters, that's for sure. So jumping into the second question, I'd love if you could each tell me, in your own opinion, what elements make a club welcoming specifically to newcomers to Canada or the USA, or folks from diverse cultural backgrounds? So maybe we'll start with you this time, Joyce.
Okay. I think I went to a couple of clubs. I feel they all welcoming. Yeah, I think the majority club did well in that. But for me, I chose Mirror, just like Vatsal mentioned, a lot of people smiling at me when I speak and encourage me to do that. Because as a newcomer, I was not that confident. I could do well on the stage. I can participate in the impromptu speaking. I wasn't that confident. But if some people just encourage me to do that, and I will give it a go and try it. And then when I see people not judge me, and whatever whether I can speak a full sentence or not, I can always see smile and nodding, and though they might not understand at all, but I saw them and I think, yeah, I did not too bad, right? Maybe I can continue doing that and I will have improvement the next time. Okay, that's all.
Amazing. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you. I couldn't agree more with all of those things you mentioned. Vatsal, what do you think are the most important elements of a welcoming club for newcomers?
I think the most welcoming elements would be the active listening part of Toastmasters. So whenever somebody comes in from a different culture or a background, just trying to make them feel heard, just listening to their life stories, what their experiences have been, because there's people from all over the countries in our club, and their life experiences can be totally different from somebody who has lived in Atlantic Canada or grew up here. So just making sure that we know what their experiences are and we try to include that somehow in the club. And I was thinking a little bit about this question, and technically what we could do is maybe when we are doing table topics or something, and we're talking about different concepts in the club meetings, we could not use like North American pop culture words, because I didn't grow up here, so I don't recognize all the pop stars or all the celebrities. I know some of them, the big ones, obviously, but not the small ones. And I think that's one thing that newcomers might struggle with, because the pop words or the slangs that are locally used, that might not be the case with people from all over the world. So if you're using something, like explaining that in your speech, okay, if you don't know what this means, this is what it is. And if somebody has English as their second language, like I have English as my second language, and if there's a word that they don't understand in English, using a simpler word maybe, because simpler words are easier to understand for people who don't speak English natively. So things like small things like that, and maybe at the end of the meeting, just making sure that they understood everything that was going on in the meeting, and yeah, just get some feedback from them if they felt welcomed and they felt included in the meeting. I think that small things like those go a long way, because they feel included and they feel heard. That comes to back to the active listening part, because if you're feeling heard, then you'll more likely come back to the meeting, because you won't feel like a stranger. You'll feel like, okay, people listen to me and they try to include me more in the meeting. So I think those are the small steps. At least that's what we try to do in our club as well. And yeah, I think that can go a long way in making a meeting welcoming.
Thank you, Vatsal.
Yeah.
That's great. Those are really excellent specific examples that we can take back to our clubs. Thank you for sharing those. And Sam, do you have anything else to add to that from your
Yes.
experience?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to share with you 4 key supports that I received from my club, both before and after I became a member. The first, the president, Shelley McDonald, reached out to me personally. She shared that the club's goal is to create a safe-to-fail environment where every members become more effective communicators, listeners, and leaders. I love that concept. Coming from a traditional Chinese culture, making mistakes can be seen as losing faces. So this approach makes me feel psychologically safe to try to learn to grow. Second, the VP of Education, Asil, spent time with me to walk through Pathways program. So it gave me a clear roadmap to develop my skills. The third is the mentorship program. So I think this mentorship program has been a cornerstone of my growth. I was very fortunate to have distinguished Toastmaster Chris Zolowski as my mentor. So basically, for every speech, I send my drafts for his feedback. And when I took new roles, he shared with me preparation tips, scripts, and even his own experiences to help me to succeed. And lastly, I would say my club genuinely advocates diversity and inclusion. Someone once said, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. So my club exemplifies this by actively inviting me to participate in all the different roles and projects. One example, after I joined the club, so they encourage me to take different roles from simpler ones to more advanced ones. Another example, as I have the IT background, I was invited to lead a project to improve the club's website. So all of these support, I would say psychologically, safety, personalized support, mentorship, and a focus in inclusion, all helping me to feel welcome and empowered to grow. Back to you, Jenny. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you all. I've been taking lots of mad notes, so I hope others are too. This is really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing those excellent specific examples, things that we can take back to our club today. Thank you for that. Okay, moving into our next question. I'd love to know if you could give us any ideas on how clubs can foster a sense of community among members from different backgrounds. We've heard how important community is, and I truly think that's one of the reasons Toastmasters stay, Toastmasters come back, because they feel community in their club. So love to hear thoughts from you. Vatsal, could we start with you this time?
Yeah, definitely. So to foster a sense of community in our club, we do a lot of activities. Sorry, Joyce, if you're going to use the same answer, but so we usually socialize a lot after our club meeting. So every quarter, at least, we will go and do axe throwing. Actually, we are planning to do archery soon, end of this month. And that's the one thing that we get together. We like get a little casual a little bit, because when we're doing public speaking, it can get very stressful and the environment can get a little professional and I don't know, maybe less friendly sometimes, because everybody wants to do their best in a club meeting. But when you are meeting to socialize, you can be yourself, you can chill, and you can talk to the club members and share your life stories more over a cup of coffee or over a drink or doing an activity. And since we were talking about inclusion and diversity, one thing our club does a lot is celebrate each other's culture as well. For example, last year, me and my club members, we did a Bollywood night, because I'm from India and I miss the movies that I used to watch. So we all got together at one of our club members' house and we ordered a bunch of Indian food and we watched a Bollywood movie. So we are lucky enough that we have members from all over the world. So we can ask, what festivals do you like to celebrate, from our club members? I know this Chinese New Year is pretty big as well. So we could ask the members that, what do you like to do for your New Year celebrations? And try to include those for our activities. So instead of going for archery, we could wear traditional clothes, what we can get, and celebrate that festival. Also greeting them on these festivals. For example, in Diwali, we do a lot similar things like Christmas. We exchange gifts, we dress up. So if we can make that part of our culture in the clubs, that will definitely foster a sense of community, because people will think that they're back in their home countries and they're doing similar activities that they used to do as kids, and that will make them even more comfortable, and that will help them open up even more. So I think, yeah, doing activities, celebrating their festivals, and even wishing them on these festival days, I think that goes a long way as well, because it gives them a sense of home. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Vatsal.
Thank you.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's great feedback. And interesting, even before when you were talking about table topics, it made me think how so often we pick table topics themes based on, American holidays or Canadian holidays. So that's really great feedback for us to think about as we move forward. Thank you. Joyce, would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think for community, though, I think Vatsal already took a lot of my lines. All right, but okay, I think for community is the most important thing is feel belongings. I remember in our party, I think the last Christmas we had a Christmas party in our club during the meeting. I think that was a great idea, because as a newcomer here, we don't have a lot of us don't have a lot of family member, or we don't celebrate because we don't have that we don't have our own community here. So in the club, if we can have all those members, because we went there every week to have our meeting, because actually we have to tell a lot of our own story during the table topic session or speech session. So a lot of us know each other actually very well, probably more than even some of our closest friends, because we have to share that in our speeches. So I think in our club, if some club have a club meeting, have a parties, have cake, have a potlucks there to share, and that really make the members, especially newcomers, feel belongings, feel to enjoy things together with other members, though we are strangers at the beginning. And that is one good thing. I think we can have some parties to celebrate during the club meeting. And also, I think a very important point, it's how can we remember all those personal details in our of another person? It's if you mention those personal details, like your family member, how are your jobs going, what are you, how's your process searching for a new house, a new apartment, your difficult, the last time you mentioned in your speech, how's that going now? Did you figure that out, your solution? How can I help on that? if we can remember all those personal details of another members and ask about that, it certainly help that person feel warm and welcome and feel belonging in the club. Yeah, that's all for me.
Thank you, Joyce. That is so true. That goes such a long way. And I know many of us, I'm thinking about my home club. We have an online club, and it's, you know, we have 1 hour. We follow that agenda pretty closely. So there really isn't a lot of time for those personal connections. So I think having time outside of the club or after the club or before the club, it's essential, I think. So thank you for sharing that. And Sam, over to you.
Yeah, I think it's important to share a common goal and create an inclusive, welcoming, and supportive environment so each member feel included, valued, and a true sense of belonging. I think Sharon, you put in chat, say a sense of belonging. Absolutely, I like that and agree with that. So the first is to share and explain the common goal. In my cultural background, speeches are often associated with competitions and contests. However, Toastmaster is so much more than that. So for new members or visitors, I think it's crucial to explain that to them. My understanding, we do have contests, but more importantly, we practice to be the best possible version of ourselves. Each of us is here to grow at our own pace in speaking, listening, and leadership skills. Second, we can celebrate cultural diversity. I think Vatsal and Joyce already shared a lot of that about like how the things, right, to celebrate and then to share the stories, traditions, and experience from their different background. Another thing I would say to create an inclusive atmosphere, for example.
I'm glad I just cleaned off.
Yeah, so lastly, I would say, create an inclusive atmosphere, for example, for new members, to help them to find mentors to guide them through their journey, encourage new members to take different roles from simpler ones and then gradually progressing to more advanced ones. And then lastly, to create networking opportunities. As I think Vatsal and Joyce also mentioned, right? So organize informal gathering, build connections beyond that regular meetings. Yeah, to summarize, I would say to share and explain that common goal and celebrate cultural diversity, fostering inclusion. So I believe clubs can create a vibrant community that everyone feel they truly belong. Back to you, Jenny.
Incredible. Thank you, Sam. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with all of that. That's amazing. And just mentorship and networking, I think all of those are so important for all clubs. And so that just reiterates that as well. So thank you all. Okay, we do have a few minutes. I thought we could do one question, maybe a quick round, but I think we have a little bit of time. So we'll go for it. So the last question is, if each of you could give us one kind of piece of advice or one tip, sort of your best tip for us about how clubs can best recruit and retain Toastmasters from diverse cultural backgrounds, what would you say is kind of one piece of advice you could give to other clubs? So Sam, how about we start with you this time?
I would say to create a psychologically safe environment. So this way, members don't need to worry making mistakes. Toastmasters isn't about competing with others. It's truly about competing with yourself. Its focus is on personal growth, helping yourself to become a better version of yourself. Additionally, fellow Toastmasters need to provide constructive feedback, acknowledge achievement, while pointing out the areas for improvement. So having a psychologically safe environment, so we can create a space. Everyone feels encouraged to step out of their comfort zone and improve. Back to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Sam. Amazing. Joyce?
So I want to offer two advice, but I want to speak the first advice. Okay, I want to say listening, it's not easy for a newcomer actually. Though active listening, it's important because you have to understand the other person so you can give feedback. I sometimes feel like a lot of people, even the newcomers or the people, they have an accent. So it's very hard for people to understand each other actually. Though we need to be polite, what's needed, we will be polite no matter if we can understand that at all. I feel like if we have some section like speak slowly or just give a chance for newcomer or for all maybe native speaker to understand the newcomer because they have accent. It's not easy for the people native language to understand that as well. I think if we can give a chance, have a session, just speak slowly so that everybody can understand fully, so we can communicate better. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Joyce. That's wonderful. Great. And Vatsal?
Yeah, so for recruiting new members, I think our VPPR does a really good job creating social media posts. And since Sam was talking about creating a psychologically safe environment, I think that could also play a big role in creating the environment psychologically safe. Because when our VPPR creates a post, she makes sure that we have people from all different backgrounds in those posts, like they're winning table topics, we are doing activities. There is not a single person from just one background. They're like very diverse people. So if I'm going to a club, I want to see that there's people like me that I already have things in common with. So similar upbringing, similar backgrounds. I already feel safe before going to that club. So I think that can play a big role in recruiting new members because it makes them psychologically safe. And our VPM, she's very good at responding to all the queries, all the questions, or all the new requests that we get. So being on top of that also goes a long way, I feel, because if I'm investing my time and money in Toastmasters, I want to make sure that I have some ROI on that. So that also gives that a sense of safety that, okay, I'm asking these questions and they're getting back to me. So they're a professional club and they'll make sure that my public speaking journey is fulfilling. And I see the lights and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Vatsal. That's really great point. Thank you all. A huge thank you, Vatsal, Sam, Joyce. This is incredible. I don't know about all of you, but I have all kinds of notes I've been taking here myself. I hope that this was valuable. I think this is such an important topic, and I think we all have things that we can learn. And so we truly appreciate all your knowledge and sharing your experiences with us today. This was fantastic. So thank you all again. And big round of applause for our panelists. And we'll pass things back over to you, Andrea.
Thank you so much. I agree with Jenny. I think that was absolutely amazing. I definitely picked up on some fantastic quotes there. I think my favorite one was division is being invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance. So I think that nailed it. Guys, we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break right now. Remember, stay tuned on the music. When you hear the music stop, get where you're going, which is right back in your seats here. We will have Sandra on at 11:05. Thank you very, wait, 10:05 Eastern time, 11:05 Atlantic time. Thank you, everybody.